Welcome back! In this video I'm going to review a $240 3D printer called the Da Vinci Jr, and it's by a company called XYZprinting. I'll leave a link down below in case you want to check it out on Amazon, and remember to subscribe to enter the iPad mini draw, which will take place when I hit 20,000 subscribers. So the printer arrived in a massive box, and inside there was a cardboard shelf with a number of accessories taped onto it. Underneath that was the printer. Once you remove all the protective packaging, you can finally see the printer, which is very stylish and enclosed in a sort of plastic box, unlike a lot of other 3D printers. It really does look like a professional bit of kit. It reminds me a bit of the late 90s Apple iMac computers with the clear colour plastic. On the front of the printer we've got a backlit LCD screen from which you can control the printer directly. On the cardboard shelf we've got several sticky paper sheets which you attach to the printer bed, a replacement feeder nozzle for the filament, and several tools for cleaning the printer if it gets gunked up with the filament. You also get the feeder tube which you have to connect yourself, a memory card which stores the sample model and is also used for the printer memory, a scraper which you use to remove models from the print bed, a roll of natural PLA filament, this printer only works with PLA filament I should say, and a user manual which tells you how to set up, use and maintain the printer. The front of the printer lifts up to reveal the filament spool, print bed and print head. The print head moves left and right, up and down, while the print bed moves backwards and forwards. Here the printer is loading the filament for the first time, and it's going to print the sample model that comes on the SD card. A key selling point, apart from the price, is that this printer is supposed to work straight out of the box, and to my surprise it did. It worked flawlessly straight away and was as easy as an inkjet printer to set up and use. The sample was this little heart-shaped pendant which took a little over an hour to print. It's pretty detailed and looks good, but we'll take a look at the print quality settings later. So what should we print? Well, you can make your own 3D models using free software called XYZ Maker, or you can print models made by other people. XYZprinting have an online database of free models to download. I like to sort by rating as you tend to get the best models that way. Now you're not just limited to these models though, there's a website called Thingiverse and there are others, and they have a huge selection of models from decorative to functional items. To my eyes they are better than the XYZprinting models. There's also a third option for model making, which is to use this free software called 123D Catch, which makes models from pictures of an object. Once you've found a model you want to print, you have to load it into the XYZware software, where you can set up the printing. You get a virtual print bed where you can rotate around to inspect your model, you can resize the model, move it, and rotate it. The maximum print size is 15 by 15 by 15 centimeters, which is not huge, but it's reasonable given the price of this printer. I found that the paper on the print bed, which is to stop the model from sliding around, can tear when you remove a print, so it's a good idea to print in different areas of the print bed to make the most out of the paper. I think that masking tape would be a suitable substitute. And you can also print more than one model at a time. When printing there are several quality presets to choose from, but the things that I think are most important are the layer height, which controls how liney or smooth the vertical lines on a print are, the infill density, which is how dense solid parts will be printed, and obviously this changes how strong a print will be. And there are also options for things like rafts or brims, which support small models, or supports, which stop hanging structures from collapsing. The software then works out how it's going to actually print that model using the filament in a process called slicing, which takes quite some time. You can then zoom in on the processed object and see how the printer is actually going to use filament to print it. The software also gives you an estimate of the printing time. Now be warned, 3D printing is a very slow process that does take hours. There is a time remaining estimate on the printer LCD screen, but that is much less accurate. Right, let's take a look at the quality of some of the items I've printed. So here is a phone or tablet holder which I got from Thingiverse, printed with the 0.4 micron layer height. Now you can see it's very rough looking. In fact, it failed to print the thinner bits of this model properly, and they snapped to the touch. By contrast, I printed this vase at 0.1 microns, and it took about 4 hours, but the quality is amazing. It's worth saying that you tend to get smoother vertical surfaces than horizontal ones, as the vertical resolution of the printer is higher than the horizontal resolution, and you can really see the difference on the top surface of this Star Trek communicator badge. I also printed this Star Trek ship in several parts, which is one way to avoid printing support structures for bigger items and splitting large print times into several shorter ones. My favourite objects so far are this SD card mounting, which looks like a mountain range when you've got SD cards in it, and this whistle. And as you can see, they both look really good. Now you're not just limited to this natural coloured filament, they do a range of different colours. Now the only problem is that you do have to use XYZ filament with this printer, as the printer does check for an RFID tag on the spool which keeps track of how much filament's been used. And this filament is a little more expensive than some of the other generic brands that you can buy. Now I've also heard that the most reliable colour to use is yellow, but you do need to shop around to get a good price on the filament. So to sum up, this 3D printer is attractive, it works out of the box, it makes fantastic quality models, and it is a great price. Really, the next level up from this is going to cost you hundreds of dollars more just for bigger, slightly better quality prints. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time for another unboxing and review. Thank you.